Thank you. Any further comments? If not, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? And the committee report is adopted. Number 10.
Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to the Energy Efficient Light Program. On a vote of 5-0, the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends the city manager be authorized to do all things necessary to accept grant funds from Public Service of New Hampshire in the amount of $2,200, and that the proceeds be used toward other lighting upgrades at the Dillon Hopkins Airport. Signed, Mitchell H. Greenwald.
Council Roberts.
Move the intent of the committee report, Your Honor.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Council Roberts.
This is a simple one, it's easy. Basically, P&SH goes out to any entity who wants to save money. You upgrade to LED lights, they will give you a rebate check. And basically, the airport is going to do it, and P&SH is going to give the city $2,200. So we'll have a low electricity cost, and then we'll have an extra $2,200.
Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Number 11.
Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to commercial airport property. On a vote of 5-0, the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends the city manager be authorized to do all things necessary to recruit and negotiate lease agreements with any interested party relative to city-owned property at 471 Old Homestead Highway and the restaurant space in the airport terminal building. Signed, Mitchell H. Greenwald.
Council Roberts.
Move the intent of the committee report, Your Honor.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Council Roberts.
Yes, Your Honor. The city owns 2 properties out at the airport that are eligible to be rented out. One is the old Indian restaurant, and the other one is the old go-kart place, the German name?
The Alps.
The Alps. And we've been trying to get individuals to lease it. We've gone through the process and a couple of times only to have the individual fall out because we tend to have a long process. What we would like to do is give the city manager the opportunity to work with somebody, and basically once they work through it and he feels that he has a real good deal coming, then come to the city council to get the authorization to do it.
Are there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Number 12.
An informational report from Finance Organization and Personnel Committee on the extension of the administrative order deadline.
And we will accept this as information. And number 13.
Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to parking and parking hours of operation, parking rates, and violation rates. On a vote of 5-0, the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends accepting the report from the parking project manager as informational and directing staff to prepare an ordinance for further review. Signed, Mitchell H. Greenwald.
Council Roberts.
Move the intent of the committee report, Your Honor.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Council Roberts.
I don't think this is going to go as quick as the LED. Basically, we were given a presentation concerning the parking fund. And as most people understand, the parking fund is a self-sustaining fund. It's a user fee and it doesn't require city taxes. And basically, over the last couple of years, the parking fund has been going down in revenue, and basically it has a reserve, but basically by 2017, that reserve will go down to nothing. And if we don't do something, then the city taxpayers, the people who don't use the parking spots, will then have to come up with money to subsidize the parking. And people, I don't think a lot of people understand, is that the parking fund, not only does it pay for the personnel and supplies and everything and the vehicles, but it also pays for the upgrade of parking lots, also the upkeep of the parking lots. One of the things that people brought up was, how come it goes up and goes down? Well, In 2006, price of oil was $25 a barrel. The city does its budget based on $25 a barrel. 2008, 2009, it's $150 a barrel. That increases the cost, and we have the option is, do we go into a deficit for that year to keep it going? Yes, we adjust to go back and forth. The deficit, like I said, that we've had some deficit years, and if we want to continue upgrading the parking lot to expanding the parking lot, this is what we need to do, and basically this will keep us pretty solid up until 2023.
Okay. Are there any further questions or comments? Remember that what we're discussing tonight is simply whether in fact we're gonna have the staff prepare an ordinance. Once the ordinance comes in, the specifics of the ordinance, the specifics of changes that are gonna ultimately be recommended need to be considered by the committee and then debated by the committee and debated by the council. But what we're doing tonight is simply asking that the staff prepare an ordinance for us to review. So are there any further comments? Council Filio.
I agree with what you just said, Your Honor. Although, as you can read my comments that I had in committee, I do feel an increase would be a detriment to downtown businesses, and from the business owners that I've heard in the last few days, they certainly agree with me. But with that said, I have no problem this going forward for further review and bringing it back. But there'll have to be some dramatic changes before I can be on board with this application when it finally comes through.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Jones.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will support this, but I would ask staff as they go through this that also consider the changes over the years. When we first set up this system, downtown Keene was a retail mecca, and it was based on those hours. Now we have a lot of restaurants and bars at night who are getting the advantage of free parking. You know, after 5 o'clock or whenever the parking ends, it's free parking, and we have a lot more of those services now than we used to have. When we first came out with the parking ordinance and had parking meters, downtown was a retail destination, and I think we should look at the hours also as a way of increasing revenue, instead of just looking at raising the fees.
Councilor Chadwick.
Thank you. I would have to echo Councilor Filio. I've received calls already from downtown businesses. I'll support going forward with the ordinance, but I want to see some changes, not drastic, but some changes made to it. As it stands now, I think it's too dramatic and it's too extreme, and businesses are upset. Thank you.
Councilor Duffy.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to say last week, there was a presentation where one of the recommendations from Mr. Lamoureux and Mr. Thornton was exactly what Councilor Jones said, increasing the hours during the day. I did bring up, and I think staff heard our concerns last week, and certainly they're hearing from downtown merchants. One of my concerns is people who work downtown having to pay a lot more for long-term lots. We also have a communication about the condition and activities in the Well Street lot, which I think may be a law enforcement and as well as a parking fee issue. But I will say, I understand the merchants' concerns, but we also heard last week that many merchants felt this would help increase turnover and not be a detriment to their businesses. My observations are that, and I hope the council thinks about that a lot, what the long-term benefits could be, adjusting the parking rates, and what really is just a change, and what's really reality, because I'm hearing a lot of different things from downtown merchants. I'm also seeing my own experience working on Central Square. Plenty of people who work downtown park all day and plug their meters because a $5 ticket is the price of doing business. It's easy. And they have a little help with folks plugging their meters as well from time to time. Also, that creates a detriment. And it doesn't have to do with cost. It has to do with walking a block or two more to the lots on Commercial Street. So I'm looking forward to seeing this come forward, and I hope there's enough of us here tonight to vote in support of it.
Council Roberts.
Just to reiterate what the mayor stated, this is just to have staff start going through the process, and it will come back to the FOP, and then when the FOP has it, everybody who has concern will have the ability to come to the FOP. And because some people talk to one counselor, some people talk to another counselor, and once the staffer does it, it comes to the FOP. Everybody who has a concern from the public can come here and speak about it to all the FOP committee, and then the FOP committee will be able to speak to all the city councilors. And so when we get ready to make the final vote, every city councilor will have the same information. This right now, none of us have the same information, and this is just to get the ball rolling. And there's no guarantee that the hours recommended here will stay here. It's no guarantee that the increase in the parking fine will stay at this amount. There's no guarantee the different lots will go up by the way this is recommended. This is just a process to get the ball rolling.
Council Chadbourne.
I haven't heard anyone say they won't support it. Even those of us with concerns or mentioning downtown merchants have said we would support this going forward. We just said we won't, we want to see some changes happen to it through that process. So I'm not sure why we're having to stomp our feet on this one.
Any further comments? Are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, city manager. Oh, wait a minute, we still have one more item. Number 13. Number 14.
Actually, before we take on 3A14, we have two memorandums from our boards and commissions that we'd like to bring forward. The first is 3C1, which is a report on behalf of the planning board that's recommending adoption of the capital improvement program. And 3C2 is a report on behalf of the Bicycle Pedestrian Path Advisory Committee, and they're recommending the reallocation of $20,000 identified in the CIP for the Jonathan Daniels Trail toward matching funds be reallocated to the Cheshire Rail Trail Phase 2 project.
And both of those items will be accepted as informational. And now we go to number 14.
Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to the CIP, and it makes reference to the change to the Cheshire Trail North Phase 2 project, and the recommendation is on a vote of 5-0. The Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends that the CIP for FY 2014-2015 and 2019 through 2020 be accepted as amended and recommended for council adoption. Signed, Mitchell H. Greenwald.
Council Roberts.
Move the intent of the committee report, Your Honor.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Council Roberts.
The former councilor referee came and talked to the FOP. He had talked to the council prior to that and recommended that we switch the $20,000 that was allocated for the Jonathan Daniels Trail study planning to the Cheshire Trail North Phase 2 project. And because they felt that it would have better impact at the present time. What we were told over again, this doesn't mean that the Jonathan Daniels Trail study planning is over. If it's a worthwhile project, it was stated that it'll come back in a future CIP, but it was just felt that the Cheshire Trail North Phase 2 project was a higher priority, and we get more bang for the buck at this time.
And I would just point out on everybody's desk, there is a sheet from the CIP for the amended section of the CIP relating to the extension of the trail from Woodland Mills Road out to Hurricane. Are there any further comments? If not, are you ready for a vote? We're voting on the approval of the capital improvement program for 2014-15 through 2019-20 as amended. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Now, city manager.
Your Honor, I only want to thank the City Council for its hard work and effort relative to the capital improvement plan and budget. We greatly appreciate the council's patience and also support for all those projects. We look forward to carrying them out in an efficient manner and continuing these projects that